Welcome back to Project 613, and today we have another 14 mitzvot, all continuing on the theme of idolatry and idol worship, the first of which refers to an individual known as a maimonides. A maimonides is one who approaches even a single individual and tries to incite him toward worshipping idols. This is strictly forbidden, and that is even if this individual is not successful. We then have 5 mitzvot that teach us how we should act toward the said maimonides. Number 1, we should not love him. And that means that even though we have a mitzvah of loving your fellow as yourself, the exception is the individual who tried to incite us to abandon the ways of Hashem. We should not harbor feelings of love or sympathy toward him. We then have a mitzvah where the verse says you shall not listen to him. And that means we should not try to reduce our negative feelings toward him. The verse then says you shall not pity him. And what that means is that even if we see the maimonides in mortal danger, and usually there's a mitzvah to come to the rescue of someone who's in mortal danger, well, this does not apply to the individual who tried to incite us toward idol worship. We then have a mitzvah where the verse says, you shall not spare him. And this is a reference to court proceedings, that the one who was the target of the incitement of idol worship should not try to justify the actions of the maimonides. He should not even try to express anything positive that would lead him to be vindicated in court. Finally, when it comes to the maimonides, there is a negative prohibition against covering up anything for him. The verse says, nor shall you cover up for him. And that means it's forbidden to conceal any evidence that may be able to be used to find the maimonides guilty in court. Moving on to idolatrous prophecies. The verse talks about a prophet speaking in the name of other gods. And we actually have 2 details in this mitzvah. Number 1, it is forbidden for a prophet to claim that Hashem commanded to worship a pagan deity. And also it's forbidden to claim that any other deity appeared to a prophet saying that that deity instructed that it be served in one way or another and promising reward or punishment for those who obey. The next mitzvah we have is that it's forbidden to listen to the idolatrous prophet, and that means that if someone does come along and try prophet in the name of an idol, we don't debate him. We don't even try to ask him to prove himself by offering a miracle. Rather, we warn him that he must stop right away or else face the penalty. Continuing on with false prophecy, we have another mitzvah, another prohibition, where it is forbidden to utter a false prophecy in the name of Hashem. And that would mean is to say that Hashem, for a prophet to say that Hashem commanded him something that Hashem, in fact, did not tell him to say. Included in this is also for one prophet giving over another information as prophecy, even if it was true, but it was given over to a different prophet. That would be forbidden. We then have a negative prohibition where it is forbidden to fear a false prophet. Perhaps people will say, well, such a holy man, how can we try him? How can we bring him to court? The verse therefore says, you shall not fear him, and he needs to be tried accordingly. We then have a mitzvah where it is forbidden to swear in the name of false gods. The verse says, make no mention of the name of other gods, and that means it's forbidden to swear in the name of an idol. Included in this is even using an idol or an idolatrous location as a landmark. For example, to tell someone, can you just wait for me at the corner next to this and this idol? That would be forbidden. We then have 2 prohibitions. Number 1, forbidding the practice of, and number 2, forbidding the practice of yidoni. And what these mean is the practice of was an ancient idolatrous practice where a person would offer incense and then he would engage in all sorts of acts that were known to the group, and they would imagine to be hearing voices coming from beneath their armpit answering questions that they had posed. This is forbidden. It's known as Yidoni is a practice where there was a bird called Yedoah, and a person would take the bone from this bird, insert it in their mouth, and then say certain formulas and do certain rituals, and then would enter a trance-like state and would begin predicting the future. This is forbidden. It's called Yidoni. The final mitzvah we have today is that it's forbidden for a parent to give their child to the molech. And the molech was an ancient barbaric ritual where priests would take a child from their parents and pass them over the fire for the sake of their idol worship. This is strictly forbidden. All of these mitzvahs, of course, have many, many more details, which you can find in the Rambam and in the Talmud. But that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.